Bravemaker Show is hosted by Tony Gaffestone and Christina Jackson. Thanks for tuning in. It's showtime.
Oh, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Tony Gaffestone. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm coming at you live from Kansas City, Missouri. I got to tell you, I know I'm always a Caucasian guy with brown hair and I'm wearing glasses today, a striped gray sweatshirt, but I'm in a very minimal, like nothing is on the brown beige wall behind me. There's a little blue light from a projector, which makes me feel very naked today because I'm in Kansas City, Missouri at the Westin Hotel. I forgot I even have my presenter thing on. I'm doing a conference and showing my film. It's very weird not to be in the studio, but that's the beauty of the digital age. We can do this wherever. And so, as always, I'm with my friend and co-creator and co-host of the Bravemaker Show, Christina Ray Jackson.
What's going on, Tony? This is wonderful. Hey. The life of a director, right? Look at you. You're all over the place. Well, I'm here in Dublin at my studio, and I'm an African-American woman with some wild blonde hair. I'm rocking a Golden Ray meets Spider-Man look today. If you want to check out that cosplay, head over to Christina Jackson on IG or hashtag KRayCosplay. And I'm in my favorite power chair. Did I say I was in Dublin? Pronouns he, she, they. I'm queer and I'm here for today's show, Tony. We're into the superhero stuff today. I love it.
Yes. Well, I do. I love it too. And I love that this guest that we have today has introduced me to a whole new show that I didn't know of. But before we get to her, Christina and I always like to start the show with one question, which we encourage you to participate as well. Our producer, Amy Cohen, is also in the chat. If you ever want to post something in the chat, she could also highlight it. How are you braving your way toward your creative goals? There's just one little thing that we have to do a day at a time to get to this thing that we're trying to achieve. So, Christina, what have you done this week? What one thing have you done?
Writing and rewriting, right? So I'm rewriting some parts from my comic book. It's almost done. You know, these are really the finishing touches. So I feel really excited to say I braved my way with some rewrites. Very excited for that rollout by the end of the year. That's all I'll say. No dates, but by the end of this year, I will be sharing issue 1, Prisoner Pioneer of Golden Ray. And I can't wait. What about you, Tony? How'd you brave your way this week?
Okay, so I got to show Last Chance Charlene, continuing to do the film festival circuit, but we are getting the film out on VOD so that you all hopefully can watch it wherever you get your movies, like Amazon and Apple iTunes, etc. But I had to brave my way, and I really had to brave my way, meaning there are so many contracts and insurance things and legal mumbo jumbo that I have to get through. Like, you can't just put your movie, well, you can just put your movie up anywhere if you want, but in order to get it into these really professional places, you have to have all your ducks in a row. You have to prove that you have people's releases to put their faces on TV. You have to have proof that you have insurance in case someone wants to sue you for whatever reason. And I honestly wanted to run away and hide. There are so many boxes I have to check off on this whole process. I'm learning. I've never done this before. Obviously, I've never made a feature film before, never got it out into the world. So I'm learning a lot. And I really had to make myself do it because I think I was just afraid. I had this imposter syndrome. Like, I can't do this. I don't understand all this stuff on these contracts. But little by little, like one day at a time today, I'm going to dedicate an hour to, typing these things out and sending these emails. And it's going to get there. And I can't wait to be done.
I love that you're sharing it. Yeah, I love that you're sharing it because it is super hard. And a lot of us run away when it gets down to the copywriting and the technical and the contract. So we should do a show just on the legal side, the distribution side, because a lot of filmmakers and actors watch a show like, what's next? So you made the film. There's so much more after that. If you have aspirations to have your video on demand, what's next after that? Yeah, that's like a whole other show, Tony. We got to do that one.
You're so right. You should have things figured out before you make your movie.
Before you film?
Things I did not know I needed to know that I should have figured out. So we'll get there.
Okay.
All right. Well, today we are going to learn a bunch of things too about acting and voiceover and editing stuff, because our guest today has her hands in all of these things. She has her own business. She's in Hollywood doing the acting thing, and you can find her voicing Jessica from accounting on HBO Max's Birdgirl. Hey, welcome Julie Dove.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Okay, irony. Oh, go ahead.
I was like, do I need to describe where I'm at? Like,
yes.
I'm a big follow the rules. So tell me.
Okay, we're gonna have you do that. But the irony just hit me that we have an actor from the show Birdgirl who has the last name Dove. That just hit me how wonderfully perfect that is. So with that, tell us who you are. Give us your physical description and introduction.
Okay. Hi, I'm Julie Dove. My pronouns are she and her. I'm in my apartment in North Hollywood. And I'm using some fabulous LED lights from Amazon that I highly recommend so that I can look my best. And I'm wearing a blue Lucky shirt that's kind of got a Native American feel to it, which I love. And I have brown hair, brown eyes. I'm wearing contacts. These are only for the second time, so I'm a little nervous because of that. And I think that's it. If I look like I'm staring like a deer in the headlights, I am.
Well, that's good. Well, feel your way around. And now I feel really bad that I didn't bring my mobile lights, because you were commenting on how great your lighting is. It does look good.
Her lighting is really good. It's really good.
I'm in the dark.
I called someone and I even did a test to like adjust them. So I was like, I gotta get these lights going. Sorry.
Good work.
She's a work from home professional now, thanks to COVID. So Julie Dove, we are so excited to have you here. Tony and I are huge fans of the show Birdgirl. But first, we're also comic book fans, so we'd love to hear your origin story. Where were you born and raised? And how has your journey uniquely prepared you for the work you're doing today?
Wow. That seems like a whole podcast. First of all, I think my mom might be listening. So I just want to say hi to my mom,
hey,
Becky,
Mom.
If she's there. Becky, Mom, I love you. So my origin story, I was born in Princeton, Texas, which at the time, I feel like it was like, I was born in McKinney, which is the hospital outside of Princeton, because Princeton's so small. At the time, it was like around 2,300. I think it's around like more than 10,000 now. So it was a tiny town, still a small town. But I, had a great growing up life, and my mom and my dad and my sister Rhonda, and things were going along great. And my dad died suddenly when I was 13, and my mom was 36. He was 38. My sister was 15. So that was a big challenge for all of us, and a huge part of my origin story, and I think has made me who I am. And I feel like I spent a lot of my teens and 20s and even 30s, I'm aging myself, being like, oh, I wish things would have been this way, or maybe my mom handled, I was like, I wish my mom would have did this or that. But wow, like when I got to be her age and not even having children, imagining like what it would have been like to have 2 children and to lose my husband, I just really started having this like huge, deeper respect for my mom, and like the whole idea of like, truly everyone is doing the best they can with the tools they had. And what an amazing job my mom did raising us. I mean, wow. And continues to be an inspiration to me for like hard work and work ethic, because like she, immediately, started working full time. And, she was kind of the PTA mom before that was like, this is pre-mom being Uber, but that's what it was, that would take us, like, we played all the sports and we were like the Bluebirds and, whatever, all that stuff was, my mom was doing all that, and then transitioned to like, I got to work and put food on the table for my family. So I think I shared with you in my pre-story, and I know people don't know this. Sorry if I refer to the email. I became obsessed with soap operas when I was 13. So it's really important that I bring that up because it was like my escapism from my father dying. And I was like, that's it. Like I'm going to grow up and be on a soap opera. Like that is my life's journey and goal. And you guys are younger than me, and soap operas, like there were like 4 on ABC, NBC, and CBS at the time. We didn't even have Fox, so they were like a big deal. Soap operas. Luke and Laura were on Time magazine. People were arranging their college schedules around soap operas, so it was a big part of life. I think now the Real Housewives would be the equivalent of it. It's in prime time, but the way that people are always talking about the Real Housewives and stuff, that's kind of what I can equate it to for you young folks out there. But there were like all kinds of magazines, Soap Opera Digest, Soap Opera Weekly, and I would constantly write fan letters. They would have a section where you could write fan letters, and I wrote fan letters to so many people on soaps. And one woman in particular, Laura Marie Taylor, who played Stacey Donovan on Loving, and who also is in the movie Friday the 13th, Part 2, and Neighbors, and Girls Night Out. She wrote back to me. I got her letter on the 1-year anniversary of my dad's death. And we continued a correspondence for 10 years. And when I became a senior in high school, she invited me to come to the set of Loving. And so that like even solidified more. I want to be an actor. But then reality set in that I live in Princeton, Texas, and I know no one. And I'm scared to go to New York or LA. And I went to college at East Texas State University, which is now Texas A&M University. And I went in the drama program and, of course, intended like, oh, I'm going to be an actor. But then you graduate from a drama degree from East Texas State University, not knowing anyone. And like, that doesn't really lead you to Hollywood. And I was not brave. I was not a brave maker. I was scared to death. And I became a high school drama teacher. And I was determined that like I would help kids, like, let's get you to be following your dream as an actor, etc. Now, I didn't have any of my kids become actors like as their adult profession, but one of my students, and I'm friends with several of my students. One of them is a lawyer now. So I'm kind of proud of her and feel like that, me being a good teacher to her helped her stay on her path. So, and when I say I taught school, I went back to my high school when I was 21 and became a teacher. So the teachers that I had my whole life, because this is a small town, I graduated with like 90 people. I think when I graduated, like the whole high school had like 300 people. So everybody knew everybody. So I was all of a sudden the peers of people that were, had been disciplining me because I was a bit of a problem child. Like I was the one, like, trying to always make fun of the teacher or something. It was all my way of coping with my father's death. But I remember I was in honors English, and my English teacher, Miss Beatty, who is a lovely human, I remember she was teaching something very important and said, does anyone have any questions? And I raised my hand and I said, yes. Why do you wear the same shoes every day? Like, I will never forget that I did that. That probably tells you a little bit about me that I haven't let that go. And I think I had to get like put in the hallway after that. I don't know, but I was a mess.
Do you have a shoe addiction? Do you have a lot of shoes in that closet?
I don't at all. I was just like,
okay.
I was just like, I'm just gonna be a brat. So anyway, so I went back to teach there, and then I was teaching. I was married, and that wasn't really what I wanted to do, but I did it anyway. And I feel like I really hurt someone in that first marriage, but life happens. We learn about ourselves. And I became divorced. I took a teaching job somewhere else. I then decided, well, not at that exact time, but it was everything that I tell you is about how can I be an actor without having to leave my small town and be an actor. And so I'd always been active in church, United Methodist. A progressive United Methodist. I'd like to say that for the record. Like everyone is welcome in God's church, no matter what's going on, what you're doing. It's none of our business. We love you. God loves you. So I want to throw that out there. So I wanted to go to seminary to be a minister. And I loved God. I still love God.
Wait, what?
yeah. I know.
Okay. I like it.
The origin story. You asked for it. So I got accepted to Southern Methodist University. Perkins School of Theology, and I was like, I'm going to go to seminary, and I'm like, it's so easy. Like all I got to do is stand up and talk to people about God. It's like performing, and I get into classes in like Old Testament, New Testament, like philosophy. Wow, like I mean, I'd read the Bible, like, I'm not stupid, but I really felt over my head. Like, other people were wanting to talk about, like, all this, the details of the scripture and this and compare this and that. And then in preaching class, like, I'm like, let's go. When's our first sermon? And they're all like, oh, no, like, can you help me with this or that? So I'm making an A in preaching, like a C and a D in Old Testament, New Testament, and philosophy. And then I had to take a class about human sexuality and about how people that are abused and have those, issues and stuff, that the minister is the first person they go to about that generally. And I was just like, whoa, I am out. I am not qualified for this. I'm doing this for the wrong reasons. I'm here because I want to perform once a week and I've got to back out. So I'm glad that I realized that and didn't enter into, doing something that I wasn't able to help the people that would need it, So at the time I was working part-time at a radio station, and I was so into, again, this is all about how can I be in entertainment and not be. I was helping record promotion and getting to know all these country music station, KPLX in Dallas. And all these country artists were coming in. So I was meeting all these famous people. It was like so cool. And I was like, oh, maybe I can work in the music business and like help you travel around with artists and help them, get famous and stuff. So I ended up with my second husband moving to Nashville, and I worked a lot of jobs in Nashville, and so many great experiences there. And just, it was kind of like a kid in a candy store. I was backstage at all these concerts and everything and stuff. And I was like pretty content. I was like, maybe I'll get into community theater here. They have a great community theater in Nashville. I was like, I'll scratch that itch at some point, kind of thing. And then my husband left me. My husband too left. Mr. Dove, I'll say it. I don't care. He left, and I was just like, I was 29, my second divorce in Nashville. What am I doing? What am I going to do? And I like, not immediately, after lots of therapy and crying and my friends there, like truly pulling me through it, I was like, this is it. Like, you have a clean slate. You can start your life over, and you have wanted to be an actor since you were a child, and you got to do it. Like, this is it. You've got to do it. So I spent that time in Nashville trying to find a way to get to LA. And my job I had at the time with Premier Radio Networks let me transfer here to work from here. So in December 26, 2001, I moved here, and I started taking classes immediately at the Groundlings or whatever. My job afforded me to be able to like pay for classes. I got an agent. I was it. I was on the path to being an actor, and I've been on that path ever since. How's that?
Amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, thank you, Julie.
I can go on, but that's the abbreviated version, believe it or not.
Well, if you are just tuning in, this is episode 164, I believe. I should have checked this before, with Julie Dove in the Brave Maker Show. I'm Tony Gapisone, and Julie is an actor currently living in Los Angeles. She just gave us the background of how she got there. If you look at your IMDb credits and you look at your Instagram, obviously you can see that Julie is currently voicing a character on Birdgirl, HBO Max. We'll get there. But I want to just pull out a couple things. You talked about being a fan of soap operas growing up and watching, and that was pre-streaming. So you said you had to arrange your days to be home at a certain time, unless you did the VCR, then you could watch them later, right?
Yeah.
But I think what was really interesting to me is you developed a relationship with one of the actors, and how cool that, you said 10 years, right? And then she invited you to set. Like, that really stuck out to me as a huge part of your story. One of the things I think what we as Brave Maker value is that whole mentoring part of this, industry. It is so hard to get in. It's so, because there's no one way. Everybody has a different break-in story. And how cool that you were invited, that she wrapped her arm around you and invited you to set. And then I don't know how many years it was later, but then you got to see your dream come true. You actually got on a soap, right? Days of Our Lives.
Yes.
And you, I don't know, when was that? Was that like a year or two ago? But you actually have.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Tony.
Days was my jam.
Yeah, was it? Okay.
Days of Our Lives was my jam, man.
Okay, so we need to look at this clip of Julie on Days of Our Lives before we go any farther?
Tamara.
Yeah. Do I know you?
No, but I know you're a dirty dog who cheated on his wife, and I assume that's you. I read all about it in The Intruder.
Ma'am, those are all lies.
Yeah, right. How can you live with yourself? How can you face your children?
Hey, listen, lady. Chad did not cheat on me.
Wake up and smell the coffee, honey. This isn't his first rodeo.
I'm sorry.
First the nanny, now his best friend's ex-husband. You need to dump this two-timing jerk before he makes an even bigger fool of you.
What? You want to yell at me? Yell at me. Leave my wife out of it.
I'm trying to help her.
Oh, for God's sake. Look, I don't need your help, so just get lost, would you?
Fine, stick your head in the sand, but don't say I didn't warn you. And you're a pig.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay,
So, tell
you
us
wanna
the
hear
story.
The Days of
Yeah.
The Days of Our Lives story is a very long story. I will make it short. So I recorded it I auditioned for it in November, like mid-November. It was supposed to record around Thanksgiving, and then it got rescheduled to the first week of December. I think I recorded on December 2nd. And they were like, you can't tell anyone. So I had to keep like my biggest thing a secret. And they were like, it'll air later. Well, I have always known that soaps were a few weeks ahead, but I guess during the pandemic, Days of Our Lives was the only soap that was able to stay on the air without any kind of like montage shows or anything. And they were ahead. And so they decided to stay ahead. So before I left that day, it said that my air date was in May. So that was like 5 months of like how long I had to wait for it to air. So I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to keep this a secret. So, and there's always the risk of like, is my role going to get cut? And so, even for like people that are series regulars or like stars in movies, they may watch an episode or go to and be like, oh, that's not everything I did. But when you're kind of at my, level of the, still kind of working my way up, everything that's about to air, you're just like, how do I promote it? How much do I tell people about it? Because there's always that, am I going to get cut? I got in this habit of saying like, if the editing gods are good to me, you'll catch me on whatever episode tonight. So with Days of Our Lives, I knew it was going to be May 12th, and someone I know in Nashville messaged me on Facebook and sent me a picture of the screen credits from Peacock online and said, oh my God, you're in the credits. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I'm going to be on tomorrow. Well, but I wasn't on when I was supposed to be. And then I thought it was going to be the next day, and I wasn't. So it did not air. And then I had made like the absolute biggest Facebook post of my life and Instagram about how I was going to be on Days of Our Lives, and it was like the greatest thing ever, and I want everyone to watch. My hometown newspaper had interviewed me and written an article about how it was my dream come true, and that like come out. I was just like, oh Jesus Lord, I can't believe it didn't air. And then I everyone was so gracious about it, and I posted this like behind the scenes video that I would love anyone to watch. It's on my IG Julie Dove or my Twitter Julie Dove. About my day on Days. I made all these little videos. I'd written some Days of Our Lives people fan letters, and I'd also gone in person to meet some of them because soap stars were also so famous that they were out doing conventions and stuff like all the time, or showing up at like events and signing autographs. So I brought some of that stuff with me to set, like for good luck and stuff. And so I made this like behind the scenes video. I posted it for my friends, and I was like, even though you didn't get to see it, my day on Days and my day in Salem was amazing, blah, blah, blah. And then, I kind of moved on. People were so nice, and they're like, this video is better than you being on the show. And then like 2 or 3 days later, the young actor, his name is Carrie. I'm so sorry I can't think of his last name, but he plays the child of Chad DiMera, the actor who I was in the scene with, is Chad and Abby DiMera, of the character names. And he said, oh, I play Chad and Abby's son on the show, and your post is on YouTube. Your scene is on YouTube. And this is after I truly I cried when it didn't happen. I was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. It was just all being like actor brain. And then I got to see it on YouTube. And if you go watch it on YouTube, there's like no sound whatsoever. It's just like dead quiet. And there's like this very long quiet pause between the two scenes. So that what you just showed, thank you for showing, is me editing it. And I actually went to episodes of Days of Our Lives and pulled music from them and used their music under it. So it's like, I need soap opera music. So I so amazing that my scene got put on YouTube. And the casting director, Marnie Sayada, I know she had something to do with that happening. And I'm sure, I don't know if she'll listen. I'll probably send her the link and say, listen to this. But I thank her so much for putting that on there so that I got to have everyone see it, because I wanted everyone to see it. It was like such a cool thing. And I want people out there sitting in a small town thinking their dream can't can't come true, then it can. So it was amazing. And now I'm like, well, now I might get to be on it a bit again. The casting director's like, we're going to find something for you. We want to get you back on. So I'm like, great, awesome.
Julie, that is such a phenomenal story. Thank you so much for sharing it. You are a powerful actor, manifester. I mean, and you never gave up after all these years. You're on the show. It's spectacular. What did that feel like to finally be in Salem?
Well, it was so amazing. Because of COVID, I did not get to snoop around and do a lot of the things I wanted to do. Like, I was all like, I want to take a picture in the Brady pub. I want to get in front of like people's houses or whatever. And I didn't really talk to any of the other actors because they made you had come sit in your room and you weren't allowed to leave until it was your time to rehearse or perform. So the actors that play Steve and Kayla, I really wanted to talk to them when I was leaving, but I was just too nervous at that point. But it was amazing I mean, just the history. They have all these pictures on the wall, and I was like, oh my God, this is where all the Bradys have been, all the Hortons, all the Damaras. It was so cool. I have to say, like, is COVID ever going to be over? But when we get back to normal, whatever that is, I'm going to try to ask the casting director if I can take a tour of the set and take some pictures.
It's got to be so fun to be a fan of a show and then get on it. Like, I just, like, you're popping out these names and the city. That's so cool. Like, some actors get an audition and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know this show. And they have to go and watch everything for like a 10-minute audition that they might not. Oh, that's so much work. But that's, I love it. So cool. So, okay, you've got a lot of energy. You've got a lot of passion. You've been following these dreams for quite some time. We have a lot of actors, both Christine and I act and have representation in the Bay Area. So we're doing auditions. We know how hard it is. We're going to get to Birdgirl. Don't you worry, everybody. We're going to get there. But I want to hear some of the things that you've learned through failing. It sounds like you said something about posting, right? You posted all this stuff. They didn't want you to post. You kind of felt weird, but then you were able to find all the stuff. That sounds like something you learned. I don't know if you would do something different with that, but what other acting tips have you learned from failing? We had another guest say failing forward. What things have helped you move forward, although it felt like a failure in the midst of it? Any stories?
Yeah, no, that's great. And I don't think I'm ever going to post again unless I'm like the lead of the show or the movie. I'll probably just wait till after it airs in the streaming world and say, you can watch it on whatever. So I definitely learned that. And that's for me. Like, no one else was like having any of the feelings I thought that they were about it, but me. It's like on me, all the negative feelings. I hate the word failure. Oh gosh, I hate it so much, but I understand it's important way to phrase it. And I mean, I'm not saying I don't use that word. I do, probably harshly on myself. I think for me, just managing my mental health, and as an actor and a creator, it's hard. Like, when everyone's like, oh, I'm a multi-hyphenate. Like, I just like to say actor creator because I feel like I'm also a director. I'm also a producer, but I feel weird like saying that when you guys were asking me what I do. I kind of narrowed it down, but I'm like, I do everything. Just managing my mental health is the absolute most important part of the process because it's a constant, so much rejection. You guys know it is constant rejection, and not taking it personally and not thinking it's over. I mean, after this Days of Our Lives clip didn't air, I was like, that's it. Like, I'm done. I had a good run. God gave me the one final thing before it like ended, and it's done. And I was like, it's not done, like it took me some weeks to work through that. Look, I'm starting to get a little teary eyed, but it's okay. It's brave to cry. So I think like just managing your mental health, whatever that means, like if you can afford therapy, which thank God I've found programs where I can afford therapy. If that means like having that one friend that will like let you, they're your vet person, like one or two friends. They're like, you can tell me anything. You can call me, whatever. Having that, having a journal, running, music, a pet, like whatever it is that can help you be grounded in the reality of the world, because there's my girl Chula. Yeah. Whatever can help you be grounded in the reality of the world, because like we're just wanting to make stories and tell stories. We're not doing life and death here. I often say, well, I have this friend, Amy, that like many years ago, she's also a creator. We were at lunch, and this is, I'm addicted to my cell phone like many people are. She turned off her phone and said, I'm going to put my phone in my purse because we're not surgeons. And I was like, yes, like nothing is an emergency when we're actors or creators. Obviously, it's not that black and white, but you know what I'm saying. So I think just taking care of my mental health and having like having a group of people that believe and support you. And it's really hard to have people outside of Hollywood, even people like I have friends in the music business who I love and I know understand what I'm doing, but don't fully understand why I've, gotten to like the low levels of income and tough housing situations I've been in, because they're like, why would you do that? And I'm just like, I mean, I didn't start pursuing this till I was 31 years old. And it's what I wanted to do since I was a kid. I already had all these other things. I had money at my music business job and all that. And it did not fulfill me. As hard as these other challenges have been, they weren't as hard as not doing what I loved. So I think that's a constant question that we have to ask ourselves, because being able to survive here, I guess it's 20, 21 years. I've had many, many people I know come to town and leave, and people still in town, but like not pursuing acting anymore. And, if that's their choice, I so respect that. But that's not a choice for me. Like if I'm working at the AM PM when I'm 60 years old, so I can still be maybe auditioning to get back on Daytime Live, that's it. That is it.
Yes.
I love it. I love your fearlessness. And yes, it's very brave to cry. Tony and I are huge fans of crying on the show, no less. And you've got on context today, so good for you.
I'm holding it in. My eyes are dry, so it actually really helped them.
I also want to say a thank you to Becky, your mom, right? Who's look at you. You raised a great creative person. What a sweet soul. Hi, Becky. Thanks for watching. You should be proud of this one. I'm sure she is.
She is. She is very proud of me. She tells me often. So.
And the mental health is huge for actors, directors, as Tony will know. I mean, if you can't hold that together, the rest just falls apart. So definitely have a co-creator, have a friend, someone you could talk to. And cry if you want to, right? I love your advice so far. That's the only way to persevere in this industry. Yeah. And what are some other things?
Yeah, I was just about to say some other things. Like I feel like I'm not afraid to try things. Like I've directed some documentaries. One that was absolutely horrible called My McDiet, where horrible meaning quality wise. Like the project idea was great, but I mean it was filmed with like a camcorder from Best Buy, like back before camcorders were really that great. Called My McDiet, where I did the opposite of Supersize Me. I lost 8 pounds eating only McDonald's with the help of my amazing supportive friend Neva Cochran, who's a registered dietitian. We got into like a festival or two, but I mean, somebody else might have done that and looked at it and been, this looks horrible, I can't show it to anyone. But I was like, no, let's do it. Let's do it. So I feel like that a lot of people say I'm fearless and brave. And I know that I am in some aspects, but I feel I'm constantly fearful. I'll be honest with you. I feel like it's all smoke and mirrors. So I have to like really, I'm constantly working on being present. And that's kind of my next thing is like, it's so corny to say the present is a gift, but by Lordy, it is. So, I'm constantly like thinking in the future and worrying about things that have happened in the past. And it's just like, it only hurts me. Like I want to apologize to Miss Beatty about the shoes. There is no way she remembers that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's just crazy. So the more like we as actors and creators can stay present and just be open to trying things and not afraid to fail. I think that's like really the reason I'm still here. I really do. Because my Lord, I have, in the eyes of like, black and white Hollywood, I've failed many times,
Well, I think what is embedded in the word brave to us, I think is the inherent expectation that fear is a part of the process, and conquering and facing that fear is what makes one brave. So I am with you. I constantly face my own imposter syndrome, being out in Missouri right now. I'm like, why do they invite me here? Do I really have anything to offer? I have to do like a 2-session workshop tomorrow. I am sweating it. Do I have anything to say? I'm doing my notes. I'm like, I don't have enough to fill 3 hours. And it's just ridiculous fears. And then I have my hat that I'm wearing, and I'm like, sometimes I go, I can do this. I know I can, but it's really facing the fears. And I think any actor out there who find success, and you have to define what success looks like for you. I think success can look a myriad of different ways, but for what I hear and see in your life is you're putting yourself out there. You are willing to work at an AM, PM because you know you love this, and you said it's not a choice. Right? This is what you have been born to do. Both Christine and I share a faith, and we believe we are creators because there is a creator, and there's all different ways to interpret that and all different faith expressions that we welcome them all. And I love that that's, I think, a part of the process for a creative person, for an actor especially, is keeping going, knowing that you've got a backing, find your crew, you know, to link arms with, because it does feel lonely at times. I'm inspired already by your tenacity, because it does take tenacity. And I'm with you too. Like I was telling somebody today, I have like 3 different, you know, monthly paychecks that come in to sustain my life on top of going after these creative things. But would I give it up? Yeah, I would give it up if I could have one paycheck that would sustain everything, but I don't have that quite yet. But that's what it takes, I think. So to our listeners, you know, if you're not willing to do that, this is the last thing that I have a question for you. I will often say, I think we all have it in us to go after our dreams, but meaning I think we have the power, the strength, the spirit, whatever, however you want to interpret that. I think we all have it in it, but I think some of us, many of us aren't willing to access what is inside of us, and therefore we give up on those things, right? I think we all have it. We all can do it, but some of us, we're just not willing to put in the work. You're putting in the work. It's paying off in a way, but you're still having to work in the struggle and space of it. Yes, but you have Birdgirl. So let's get to Birdgirl. Birdgirl, tell us about this process. Tell us about this show. I think we also can pull up a clip, but tell us about Jessica from accounting, and then I'll pull up a clip from it.
Okay. Also, first of all, I keep feel like I'm going out of frame, so I'm sorry I'm being weird.
You're good. You're perfect.
It's all of my OCD, and I have to live out loud and tell you. Jessica from accounting is amazing because, I mean, Jessica is me. I'll be honest. Like, when I read that audition, there was like this 2-page description, and yet it was just a few lines and only in one episode. And I was like, wow, that is like really deep, thoughtful information about this character. Like,
excuse my eager friend here.
She hears her own voice.
Since the dog's out of the bag.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear that? I'm trying to pull it up.
Yes. I was like, should I let you play that or keep talking?
Sorry, I was trying to pull it up and then it started playing.
Okay.
Well, with that wonderful introduction, let me show you, those of you who are watching, those of you who are listening. I'm trying to pull it up all slyly, but there you go. Oh my gosh. This is like 17 failing forward examples right here on the show live. I'm doing that. Okay. So this is on Julie's Instagram. You can find it at Julie Dove. This is her character, Jessica, which I love it that she's Jessica from accounting. Here we go.
Yeah.
Jessica, so nice to see.
So you want to hear about Frank's divorce or Dana's gambling problem?
You're fired. Excuse my eager friend here. But
you're fired.
Since the dog's out of the bag, as no one says, you are indeed fired.
Oh, I get it. You're firing me. You almost got me. Oh, and I saved you a Zagnut before the little elves get their hands on it.
The level of denial's unbelievable.
You're really fired.
I hope you don't mind taking
Don't do that.
advice. But you're new at this, so I'll do you a huge favor and allow you to undo what's going to be the biggest mistake of your life.
I'm confused. Are you threatening me?
She's threatening you. And she's fired.
Lick your lips.
Do you know who I am? Do you know what I can do for this company?
Ooh, ouch. I think we'll survive without Malamar Mondays.
It isn't just Marshmallow holding this company together. You'll see. You'll all see.
No, not the fireballs. She's taking away the atomic fireballs!
Well, everyone, it seems Jessica did everything that powers an office ecosystem. Besides issuing paychecks, she wrote the passy-aggressy notes about dishes in the sink, planned baby showers, she even rolled Carl for bed sores. And it seems she powered the entire building with her underdesk exercycle.
Every paycheck she ever earned, she hasn't cashed a single one.
Good people of 7 and 7.
What's she doing?
Friends, candy lovers, co-workers. If you have ever enjoyed one of my delectable treats, do as I ask. Please walk to the south corner of your office. Now please make your way to the north corner of your office. If you've ever felt overlooked, taken for granted, underpaid, I want you to stand on one foot and start hopping up and down. May I help you?
Jessica, there's been a horrible misunderstanding, and I'd like to apologize. And increase your candy budget. Know what I think?
Why doesn't she cash out one of those checks and get a decent pair of shoes?
Brian?
Yo.
You're fired.
Who's the guy that saved the world?
Come on, it's so good.
It's so good. You're so funny. What's wild is soap operas are so dramatic. The furthest thing away from comedy. Yeah, I used to watch Days of Our Lives in junior high, and it was not nonstop laughs. But Birdgirl is. So, congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you. I was so proud of being on that show with such amazing people, which I was telling you I have not met because of the pandemic. I hope we get a season 3 and that we get to record together, or at least like have some type of rap party or something.
Okay, so you interrupted yourself. Jessica from accounting was interrupting you while you were trying to share before. So now, without her voice in your ear, give us. So you got the audition. You were reading it. You said Jessica is you, which, by the way, I love it in the clip. She comments on your shoes.
I know.
Which is that's full circle. Come on,
full circle. Every time.
Jeez.
Like that's what I'm saying. It's like so. Every time I would get a script, I'd be like, oh my gosh. It's funny when I post clips, I try to like really, as an editor, edit it to focus on me. But because I wanted my family and longtime friends from back home to see the part where Meredith, the mind taker, is narrating that she posts notes in the office and she did the birthday cakes and all that. Like that is me. Like I'm the one constantly like on everyone about you've got to do this and have you gotten this done and blah blah blah. And so that's like what is similar in me from Jessica from accounting. And then this whole idea of like, do you know who you're dealing with? Like I am the person that, I'm certainly guilty of, can I speak to your manager? Or I remember like I went through this phase in life where I wrote so many letters to companies about problems that I was shopping this store in Sherman Oaks where I was shopping when I got here. Every week I would go buy a loaf of bread and like 4 or 5 pieces in the middle would be like hollow, like with these giant holes in them. And I remember writing a letter to the Wonder Bread Company being like, what is wrong with your bread? And what is going on? And can you fix this problem? And they sent me coupons for free bread. And when I think back on that, I'm like, where in the world did I have the energy to tell Wonder Bread what's going on with their company? And, Jessica is truly running 7, like I am powering the company with my feet under the desk. And I don't think it was in this clip, but in the show, spoiler, it's revealed that like I haven't cashed my paycheck in 15 years. I'm just doing it because I want to be there and be the one taking care of things for people. So that's very much me.
I love it.
So tell us about you get the audition. I'm sure you send in some voice takes. How did the whole process go? Give us like bit by bit.
It's so crazy in that I know I got this role for my audition, but I don't know how the casting director found me. The casting director for season 1 is a woman named Dawn Hershey, and she emailed. There wasn't like a breakdown or anything that anyone representing me saw. This Dawn Hershey casting director, she emailed my commercial agent and said, do you represent Julie Dove for voiceover? And the commercial agent emailed it to my manager, Pure Talent Management at the time. And said, oh, we'll handle it from here. So I recorded this audition. I feel like I recorded it in February, like right before we shut down, like, the world shut down, February 2020. Wow. So, and I remember recording it with my friend, Jeremy Konar and Michael Reeser at JB Self-Tape Studios. I'll throw that out there for actors in LA. You can get your tapes done there. And I remember saying to my friend Jeremy, I feel like it's just me. Like, I need to do something more. He's like, no, this is just you. Let's just like, let it be you. And then the pandemic was going and, life was happening. And I got a call from my manager that I had booked it. And did I have the equipment to record at home? And interesting, talking about fear, I did not have the equipment to record at home. And my immediate response was, Yes, I told them I did because I was afraid that they would not let me have the job if I told them I didn't. So I went and bought all this equipment at Best Buy, and I was trying to run it in this guest house. I was practicing in this guest house where I was living, and there was no air conditioning in the closet, and it was the summer at this point. I think it was June or July. It was so hot, and I was like dying. And I still wouldn't tell the production that I didn't have equipment. So I ended up recording it at my friend's studio, and they have a home studio because they're in their self-tape. They do voiceover and on camera. And then I've learned since then that like they had these like kits like ready to go. Like they were ready to mail me like studio in a suitcase. All I had to do was be honest. All I had to do was say, no, I don't. They had blankets. They had like a thing in a brief, like, and I heard that like even the series regular.
Priceless lesson, Julie.
Oh my God. And I was like, I will never again answer with a lie. Like this fear of like, I'm going to lose, like it's the actor thing. I'm going to lose the job if I'm completely honest about like what's happening. And so it was such a big lesson.
Gosh, that is so good. I'm those of you who are just listening to the podcast and are not seeing, I'm squeezing every orifice in my, because I feel this so much. And it's like Christina is so right. Such golden wisdom, because if you're right for the part, I'll tell you this. Yes, when you do auditions, as a director, I'm looking for people to have good, decent lighting. But if you have the lighting I have right now and it's not great, but you are spot on the character I'm looking for, I know I can get you good lighting. I know I can put you in front of a camera and direct you. So I think that, gosh, that is so.
I mean, it's
so
the fear
important.
of not enough. I'm not enough if I don't have. And I will say some of my friends with, since I did not have a voiceover agent then, but Jessica from accounting, that booking that helped me get a voiceover agency, Innovative Artists. Love you. Thank you. My friends at other voiceover agencies had been told at the beginning of the pandemic, if you can't record at home, you're not going to work as a voiceover actor. And the reason I'm wearing these wired headphones now is because I will just say it proudly. I'm one of the biggest agencies in town for voiceover, and they have said to me, do not spend a dime to do this at home. Like you will get paid to go and do it. So they're like, you can record on the voice memo in your iPhone for your auditions. And again, it was that fear of like, if I can't get a studio in here, I'm not going to be able to hang. I'm not going to, get whatever. But it's like the whole thing of I am enough. I just last week I've been trying to find these markers I could write on my mirror with, and I finally found some dry erase markers for glass. And the first thing I wrote, it's like all the way across my bathroom mirror, is I am enough. I mean, it's just like, my little iPhone, and I do have a little portable mic. I'm like, that's enough for me to record. These headphones, like the fact that I don't have AirPods, like I still get to be on your podcast. You know what I mean?
Yes, you do. And tell everybody what podcast this is for you being on the show.
Oh, this is my first ever podcast, and I'm like super, super nervous.
I'm so excited.
I mean, I gotta say, for years I've been like, no one wants me to be on their podcast, so thank you. I'm so happy to be on your podcast. I'm so happy to be wanted.
It's so awesome. Can I tell you? And Tony doesn't know this. I saw the show for the first time in Chicago during the Blue Whiskey Film Festival. I was in my hotel room, and I was like, "What is this show? Oh my God." And it was so hilarious and so wild. And then a couple weeks later, we have a mutual friend, Danny. He introduced us, and now here you are. And it's just so cool. I love that now we are a part of Julie Dove's journey.
You're part of my origin story, which keeps growing.
Yeah.
Well, we are so happy for that, and so happy for you. And honestly, I could talk forever. We've been going.
I could talk forever too. As you can probably tell.
Okay, so we have so many things in common. We appreciate you and your actor's journey and your faith journey. I'm an ordained pastor as well, so we'll have to follow up on that stuff.
We will.
I will. I'm just feeling this little nudge right now because. And Christina, I don't even think I've talked with you about this part, but I was working on a pilot, okay, that was going to be a live action. I'm trying to sell some pilots. I've been writing TV, slowly trying to move forward in that way. But awesome. I took one of my shows and I revamped it into an animated show. And as you were talking, by the way, you do have a great voice. You have a great voiceover voice.
Yes.
And as I was listening, I'm like, I'm going to talk to Julie about this. And Christina, I already wrote a part for Christina in it. I don't think she even knows, but it's called.
Oh my God! Oh my gosh!
It's called Church Biz. It's called Church Biz. Yes, and so I could tell there's a little character, you can see Christina's character on the left. There's Christina's character, but there's a character in there that I'm like, oh my gosh, I could totally see Julie voicing. So we need to talk and let's.
I want it.
This
I'm
is
committing
great,
right now.
Tony.
I'm committing right
This
now
is
to
so
it.
cool.
And I want to say, because we're talking about this actor creator journey and the rejection, I came from radio. Like when I was doing the promotion stuff, I did a little bit of what we used to call board opping, where you literally like moved dials up and down on a board. Now it's all on a computer. But then you would go on once, you would play these syndicated shows like the news or countdowns, and you would go on once an hour and say, today's weather in Dallas is blah, blah, blah. So I had some voiceover experience, and I have tried for, I guess, 18, 19 years to get a voiceover agent in LA and have been rejected over and over again. Your voice is too specific. It's too Southern. It's too whatever. And so to go from this, just like, I mean, my friend Jeff would say, I'd say, it's so random that this casting director reached out. He's like, nothing's random. Like it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Of course I have to embrace that. But the fact that all of that has led to me getting the voiceover agent that I did, also with help from my friend Ginger Gonzaga, who's on She-Hulk right now and coming True Lies on CBS this fall. So let me give her plug.
Ginger is great, and I love She-Hulk.
Yes, Ginger helped me get a meeting with Innovative. So yeah, no, she just was like, do you want me to pitch you to Innovative? And I was like, yes, I do. And she sent over, she CC'd me on, I think she blind CC'd me on the email because she's with them for voiceover. And she was like, this is my friend Julie. And she just booked this Birdgirl show and she's great. And then they were like, let's have a meeting. And I was just like, what? Like, what? I've been trying this for 20 years. I've had so many good people that have repped me over the years. Eileen O'Farrell, Katrina Herlong. They pitched me to voiceover people that have like turned me down. And like people have tried really hard to get me into voiceover. And wow, I just like, I gotta believe it was meant to all happen this way, right? That's like
we love that you have persevered. We love it. We love it. It's such a beautiful, encouraging story, Julie. It's so great.
Yes.
Thank you.
And a reminder: help your friends. I was just thinking about this today. I know so many people who hold their cards close to their chest because it's a scarcity mentality. And if I give you my agent, maybe you'll take away. No, come on. Your voice is so specific that Ginger's not going to get what you get, right? So she shared, like, I love that. That makes me so happy. Help your friends. Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's not about reciprocity, but I feel like if you can do it, why not? Like I was just raised, if someone needs anything, you're just like, can I help you with that? Yep. And, I realize everyone's not going to be that way, but like, just be kind to one another, love one another. Like we could solve so much if people would embrace that.
So good. Well,
words to live by.
I want to talk more with you, and we probably will talk again someday on the show. But we're so happy to meet you, and
I'm so happy to be here.
And we'll see what the collaboration could look like in the future. But
yes,
I just want to say, keep going, and to our listeners, if you feel like you're, like Julie, give her a follow on Insta. Root on the people that we bring on the show, because you never know how we can all help each other, right? Like the fact that Julie has been at this for so long and has all these stories and learned from all the rejections. It's the common thread that binds us together, is that we do what we love because we love it and we want to go after it. So, oh my gosh, I'm gushing right now and so happy for this, but we got to go. Go ahead.
Just a button. The actress Laura Marie Taylor, she's my friend now in real life. Like we Zoom now every few weeks.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm actually helping her with her website. So, I mean, it's like, I'm so giddy every time I talk to her, but I mean, it's just like, it's wild.
That's so wild.
I just wanted to button that.
So any of the friends you want to put onto the Brave Maker show, get in touch with our producer, Amy. We would love to have more cool guests like you.
Yes.
All right, guess what? It's time for our favorite time of the show.
Brave Faves. TV shows, films, books, songs, technology, clothing, podcast, food, and more. These are a few of our favorite people, places, and things. Brave Faves.
So my Brave Fave has become one of my favorite things to do lately, and that's go back to the movies. So I actually went to see The Woman King, directed by Gina Prince by the Woods, starring Viola Davis. I will just say, wow, I think it's #1 in the country right now. I saw it last night. The film's incredible. I loved every minute of it, and that's my Brave Fave. What about you, Tony?
I'm going to fave another podcast because we don't have to have scarcity mentality.
Right.
I have been binging the Smartless podcast, y'all.
Ooh.
It's so freaking funny.
Hey, I
It is
recognize
with
those guys.
I've
Jason
heard it's so good.
Bateman.
My friend Emily said that.
It's so funny. I've been laughing. I don't laugh out loud like this when listening to other podcasts. This show, and then I feel bad about myself. I'm like, I'm not funny. Why am I not funny? I don't have to be. That's not my role in life. But these three guys are so funny, and they talk about like the entertainment industry. They talk about acting. They talk about the filmmaking and the behind the scenes and all the failings. But they're also super biting and sarcastic, and it's so great. And I love it. It's so fun. What about you, Julie? What's your brave fave for the week?
Okay, it sounds cliche, but my brave fave is Days of Our Lives because after 57 years of being on broadcast television, Days of Our Lives is now on Peacock. So it's Days of Our Lives on Peacock. I've started watching it again. I started watching it again a few months ago, but the fact that they're able to like make the transition, the actors have been doing all these promo videos, like trying to make sure the older audience knows how to do it. Peacock has got like a $1.99 a month or $20 a year to try to get the Days of Our Lives audience on there. But I feel like they're doing something brave. You know, the show started on radio, it went to television, and they're like, we don't want to let it go. Let's take it to streaming. So it's fun and it's brave. So I'm super happy that Days of Our Lives moved to Peacock, and I can now watch it while I'm working during the day instead of having to wait to watch it the next day on Peacock.
That's so
Very
fun.
cool. Yeah.
I just love, there's something for everybody out there. Really,
Yeah.
there's a show for everybody out there, and there's a space for actors of all kinds, of all voices, of all. Right on, Julie. So great. Do not go away. This has been such a fun show, you all. You know, if you are a longtime listener of Bravemaker, that we are a 501c3 nonprofit, which means we depend on people's generosity. We depend on donations. We depend on corporate sponsors. If you are someone who can be generous to us, we have 26. That's 26. I've been following us for a while. You might hear that number slowly go up. It was like 25. We were like stopped at 25 for the longest time. And we got one new monthly donor. You can go to your phone, just type the word Bravemaker, one word, into your text to 44321. It's at the bottom of the screen if you're watching it. And that's a way you can become a donor. Give $5 a month, $25 a month, $100 a month. It's all tax deductible. And if you want another way to give to Bravemaker, when you shop on Amazon, use smile.amazon.com. It's the same exact account through Amazon, but then you can choose a nonprofit, and like a small percentage of every purchase you make comes right back to Bravemaker. So would you consider doing that? That would be so helpful. We want to do more podcasts like this. We're trying to start more podcasts. We want to do films. All the money that we make helps go right back into the nonprofit to do this brave work of elevating brave stories for justice, diversity, and inclusion, to educate, entertain, and create community experiences. What do we got coming on next week, Christina?
Next week, we have Sally Forcier, casting director, joining us next Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on YouTube on the Bravemaker channel. And we cannot do this show without our amazing crew behind the scenes. And Texas is in the house today. We have Amy Cohen out of Texas, out of Austin, Texas, I believe. We have our social media manager, Carrie Alley, and our podcast editor, Barnell Amos, out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. We couldn't do the show without you all, and we'll all be back next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Fantastic. Okay, let's give our sign off here. Where can people find you, and anything else you want people to be watching or getting their eyes on for you, Julie?
My Twitter is at Julie Dove. My Instagram is at Julie Dove, and my website is juliedove.com. Please go to HBO Max and stream season 1 and season 2 of Birdgirl. We're still waiting for a renewal for season 3. And just, if you're following my social medias, the day after I'm on television, you'll see a notice from me. Also, if you're an actor or someone in the industry that needs editing, at Actor Editing on Instagram or actorediting.com.
So cool. You are doing a lot of great stuff. JulieDove.com is a really nice website as well. We'll make sure we put this in the chat here. But if you're listening to this on the replay, on our podcast, share this with a friend. This will be in the show notes as well, JulieDove.com. But subscribe to our YouTube page. post it on your social media. These little nuggets are going to help someone else. Remember, just like Ginger helped Julie get an agent, like, share the love, share all these tips, because we can rise together if we help one another rise. So thank you so much, Julie, for being here. Really appreciate it. Don't go away. We'd love to have one more little minute with you, but we always like to end the show by saying brave stories change the world.
And you are the story. Bye, everybody.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at bravemaker.org. Like, subscribe, and share. To become a monthly donor, text the word BraveMaker to 44321 or go to bravemaker.com/donate. Thanks for tuning in.